So our story today is about Adam and Eve. Do you know what sin is? Yeah, sin is any attitude, thought, or action that disobeys God. Now let's read our story. God created a helper for Adam. Later, Adam named her Eve. Adam and Eve lived in the Garden of Eden and had one rule to obey. Do you know what this rule might be? Yeah, it is that they were not to eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. They were allowed to eat from all other trees in the garden. The world and everything in it was good and perfect, just as God created it to be. One day, Satan came to Eve as a serpent. Do you know what a serpent is? Yeah, it's just another word for a snake. He asked Eve, "Did God actually tell you you should not eat of any tree in the garden?" She answered, "We are allowed to eat the fruit of the trees in the garden, but God said, 'Do not eat the fruit of the tree in the middle of the garden. You also should not touch it, or you will die.'" Do you remember what this tree is called? Yeah, it's called the tree of knowledge of good and evil. This is the tree that they were not allowed to eat from. The serpent said, "You will not die. God knows when you eat of the tree, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." Eve ate the fruit of the tree. She also gave some to Adam, who was with her, and he ate of the fruit. Both of their eyes were then opened, and they realized they had sinned by disobeying God. So are they really going to be like God if they eat from this fruit? No, that's just what Satan wanted them to think. Later, they heard God walking in the garden, and they hid. God called out to them, "Where are you?" Adam answered, "I heard you, and I was afraid, so I hid." God asked Adam if he had eaten of the tree. But does God know everything that we do? Right, he knows that they were hiding, he knows where they were hiding, and he also knew that they did eat from the tree. Adam answered, "The woman you gave me, she gave me the fruit to eat, and I ate it." Then God asked the woman what she had done. She answered, "The serpent tricked me, and I ate the fruit." God told the serpent, Adam, and Eve that they would have consequences for their sin. Sin has a price. Adam and Eve would experience pain and hard work, and they would physically die one day. Adam and Eve were sent out of the garden. So because Adam and Eve sinned, then they were sent out of God's perfect garden that he had created for them. Sin has a price. Of the consequences of Adam and Eve's sin was that they would have to work hard for the rest of their lives. This was not part of God's original plan for them. Sin broke so many things. The world would experience death, pain, fear, and sadness. Now, Adam and Eve needed someone to rescue them from their sins. Who do they need to rescue them? Right, they need Jesus. Everyone who has lived since Adam and Eve has been affected by sin. How do you think Adam and Eve's sins affect us? Right, our world has been broken by sin, so we sin too. We are born as sinners. Our relationship with God was also broken by sin. We need a Savior too. So if you remember, this is our memory verse that we are going to be looking at for the next couple of weeks. And just a reminder, it says, "Have you not known? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He does not faint or grow weary. His understanding is unsearchable." This verse says that God is the creator of the whole earth. So what are some things that God has created? Right, he has created all of these things. Okay, so that was our story, and now we're going to do our craft. So do you remember who tempted Adam and Eve in the garden? Right, it was Satan, but he was in the form of a snake. So this is what we're going to be making today, our own little snakes. Okay, so to start off with, you're going to need 2 pieces of different color construction paper, or if you want all of your snake to be the same color, or if you want it to be more than 2 different colors, it's just up to you. But you just need different colors or the same color of construction paper. Next, what you're going to do is you're going to take your first piece of construction paper and then just cut a straight line all the way through it. It can be as big as you want it to be. Now that you have this, you're going to do the same exact thing for your other piece of construction paper. Now that you have both pieces of construction paper, what you're going to do is you're going to take one and you're going to fold it and make a circle, and then you're going to tape the two ends together. Now you're going to do the same thing for your other piece of construction paper, but what you want to do is you want to loop it through your first hole, and so it looks like this, and then tape it together just like this. Now that you have this, you can keep on going for however long you want your snake to be. Now you're going to take a different color of construction paper and we're going to make our head. I chose white, but you can choose whatever color you want it to be. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to cut a small rectangle into the corner of your piece of paper. Now that you have this, what I did next was I cut like a little triangle out of the bottom of this to form its mouth. Now that I have this, I'm going to start making his tongue. So what I did for his tongue is I'm going to cut another piece out of my construction paper. It's just going to be a smaller rectangle than the first one that I did. And here's my tongue, if you can see it. I know it might be hard. So what I did for this was I colored it red so that it looks like a tongue. So now that I have my tongue in my head, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to place my tongue inside of the snake's mouth so that it looks like it is sticking its tongue out like a snake does. Now that I have that all put together, I drew some eyes on it just to give it a little bit more, and you can draw more stuff on your head, just whatever you want. What I did next was I taped it to the end of my snake so that its head can look a little something like this. So that was our story, and then that was our craft. So thank you so much for watching, and have a great Sunday.